He is forcing the New York Knicks to do something that nobody expected, as right now we are witnessing exactly why Leon Rose and his front office has been very good at drafting. However, this also comes on the heels of a lot of news surrounding Giannis Antetokounmpo and his prolonged interest in the New York Knicks after officially requesting a trade from the Milwaukee Bucks, getting hurt, being out for a couple weeks, and ultimately not talking to the media so he can avoid all the questions, and hopefully for him is the goal to get traded before he has to answer a bunch of those questions to the media while still in a Bucks jersey. There's a lot to talk about right now, and the Knicks' hand is being forced in a huge way right now, and also, this is perfect timing for everything that we're about to talk about, so guys, strap in. But real quick, if you are part of that 56% that's not subscribed to Knicks Digest, make sure to go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss a single Knicks update. We got videos coming out every single day on everything surrounding the Knicks all the time, every day of your life for the rest of your life, and all the time after that as well, forever and ever and ever. But with all that being said, if you know ball, this is the place to be. Guys, let's jump into the video. There is a lot to talk about right now, because right now the Knicks' hand is being forced. It's being forced by this man right here, 2024 rookie year, or 2024 first round draft pick, Dadiet, who was selected by the Knicks and ultimately so far throughout his career hasn't shown much at the NBA level. He's barely gotten into games despite being picked in the first round, and mainly that's because he was viewed as a massive project. Can he get it all to click? If he can, he should be a very, very, very good NBA player. He can dribble a basketball. He's got a very nice shooting form. His defense is very good. He can pull up off the mid-range, and he could score on all three levels. Dadiet, in theory, has all the skills to be a great basketball player one day, but the Knicks, they're slowly bringing him along. Being a contending team means that they don't have time to start to really get this project up and running and give him NBA minutes when they have just a bulk of players who are more deserving of these minutes as well, especially with OG Anunoby having his return be imminent does add another layer to all of this right now. However, we do see that Dadiet, since going to the G League in Westchester for the Knicks, has been absolutely phenomenal. Putting up 22 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists, Dadiet has shown exactly what you want to see out of him, while also shooting quite well. He's only shooting 41% from the field, but he is shooting 36% from 3 right there, which is a really, really good sign. One of the things about Dadiet is he's going to have to be able to hit the 3, and he's shown instances where he looks like he's going to be able to hit those shots. Dadiet looks confident from behind the arc, and now it's just a matter of time before all those shots do fully start to fall for him. The Knicks, they have both been sending him down and then recalling him from the Westchester Knicks fairly frequently. Now, I did a video a little bit back discussing this and discussing why it's a little bit weird that Dadiet would get sent down to the G League and not Mohamed Diawara. But the answer feels pretty simple, actually. The Knicks want Dadiet to have a lot of reps going down. Dadiet spent most of last year in the NBA not playing in the G League. He did spend a good amount of time there, played like 30 G League games, but more of his time was spent up at the NBA level, hanging out around NBA players and learning what the NBA lifestyle is like. The Knicks are clearly doing that now with Mohamed Diawara, who's getting up there. Also, the Knicks need more power forward depth, and Diawara is kind of a power forward, so that kind of works perfectly, while Dadiet is more of a wing. Now, Dadiet did that with the Knicks. He learned a lot from those guys, and now they're having Diawara do the same thing. Right now, we're seeing Dadiet go out into the G League and take charge of a bad Westchester Knicks team. The Westchester Knicks have struggled mightily, and with there being a ton of trade talks surrounding his name, now things feel very prevalent, because the name James Edwards said he kept hearing most is 20-year-old Dadiet. The Knicks are entering camp with the idea of trying to keep Malcolm Brogdon and Landry Shamet, as he mentioned a couple months ago, and given Dadiet's age, size, and projected profile, he has more value around the league than the likes of Tyler Kolek and Ariel Hukporti. We all know how that worked out. Malcolm Brogdon shocked the world by retiring, and the Knicks signed Landry Shamet, who is now down with an injury but expected to come back. With all that in mind, Dadiet now has a clearer pathway to some sort of a role with the Knicks. However, that's it to happen now. However, also with Giannis Antetokounmpo requesting a trade off the Bucks, now there's been a lot of talk starting, well, what if Pacome does get moved to the Bucks? And we're going to talk a little bit more about that as time goes on, but he's a guy in Westchester, again, putting up 22 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and shooting 36% from 3 on 7.3 attempts. He's a guy that teams would be interested in when we talk about young players. Is he some forefront young player of a deal? No, but he is someone who does matter. He's someone who would help, and when we look at Dadiet and the Knicks' whole situation surrounding Giannis, there's one thing we do know. One thing that's for sure is that if there were to be a Giannis deal, it would involve Karl-Anthony Towns. The Knicks Well, they would have to give one more player as well in that deal, and Dadiet's salary fits just about perfectly in order to get that going. Now, with that in mind, again, there's going to be draft picks. It's not just going to be a straight-up deal, but financially, the Knicks, they would have needed to give another player, and Mikal Dadiet does cover that, while also giving the Bucks a nice young talent, which does kind of show why there has been interest in going that route. Now, on top of that, we also know that New York emerged as the only team that Giannis desired outside of Milwaukee in the offseason, and the Knicks and Bucks engaged in trade talks for a window of time. And when we look at all that, we also do know that the Bucks ultimately did offer the Knicks a trade where the Knicks would be acquiring Giannis and Kyle Kuzma. The question is, who was the trade for? Well, those finances specifically do add up to a way that it makes sense that the Bucks very likely asked for both Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns, because I don't really see any other deal the Knicks were so adamant to decline if it weren't for those two. So I truly do believe that's what was asked. And now, with the Giannis stuff back, with Dadiet balling out, there are a lot of questions that do have to be answered. Now, Shams did say that Giannis has been frustrated over losing and that the writing is on the wall with what's going to happen to Giannis and the Bucks ultimately. And on top of that, when we just look at everything surrounding them and look at Dadiet, he's on an excellent contract. He's club controlled the next 2 years. Well, really, the Knicks have opted into that. So he's club controlled in 2027 to 2028. And also just has shown that he does have potential. He's going to be a guy who's not going to get a ton of minutes until the Knicks can extend him to a very small-time contract, and that's when they'll start playing him. The exact same thing that they did with Deuce McBride. We are going to see Leon Rose try to pull off with Dadiet if Dadiet ultimately does not get traded. Now, Giannis is interested in more teams than just the Knicks at this point. The team list has expanded, so because the Bucks likely told him that it was not feasible getting him to New York, so Giannis had to find other destinations that he'd be happy with as well. With all that in mind, it is going to be interesting because the Knicks, they can call up Dadiet and start to play him if they need him. However, with OG Anunoby coming back, it does make things a little bit more difficult to pull that off. On top of that, when we look at everything surrounding Dadiet, surrounding the Knicks, it also makes sense to just keep him in the G League right now. The Knicks do have two-way guys who they could use in Tosan Awoma, who plays the same position, Kevin McCullough Jr., who's also can be a wing, can be a guard, can kind of move around a lot. He's a very versatile guy. And then also, just when we look at the other roster, we've seen the Knicks so far favor putting Diawara in games over Dadiet. Something that I find pretty surprising, but again, I did say before in the video, it is partially because Diawara is a power forward, so that is sort of where that comes from, whereas Dadiet is not. He's more of a wing, more of a small forward, shooting guard type guy, who's going to be there to hit shots in the corner, create his own shot as well from the mid-range area, and can drive to the rim pretty efficiently also. Dadiet is a very layered player, and he's someone who is now starting to really show up and show out in New York. So much so that now we're seeing things really start to roll for him and for the New York Knicks. And the Knicks, their hand is being forced right now. They're going to need to do something because Dadiet is playing too well in the G League right now. Teams are going to take note and try to trade for him. And the Knicks, they may need that salary as long as they are still interested in acquiring Giannis. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day. Go Knicks.